Good evening, everyone. Tonight I'd like to talk to you a little bit about emotion in playing the piano, feeling, and you can do it by different ways, but you don't want to just use dynamics and tempo. You can think about the color of the tone, the way you produce the tone. There's an analogy you could use. Let's say you're icing a nice thick chocolate cake when you sink down in for each note, because each finger, once you're in like that, has to get its marching orders from your heart when you go to the next note, how you feel. And the feeling is everything in music, and it's not something you can force someone else to feel, but if you can feel something yourself with each note, then the chances are that they will pick up on that feeling too. So I thought I'd go through the starts of a whole lot of pieces and just give you examples with each one of what I think is possible in trying to create feeling and emotion in the music rather than just playing the notes. Because if you just play the notes, it's a robot, and a monkey can do that. But a monkey can't put feeling into music, and emotion. So I have a list here of pieces that I'll try to highlight on. But let those fingers get their marching orders from your heart, and I think you can be very much more successful in convincing the listener of the emotions you want them to pick up on in the piece you're playing. So if I took the Schubert Serenade, for example, once I'm in, now first of all I gotta flop right through to the floor and hang on those notes. So each note I'm coming into, I'm going toward my heart and trying to say, how do I want that to sound? How do I want that to come across to the listener? This is awfully bright. I don't know whether... Well, it's not going to go any darker. But anyway, so if you can hear what I'm trying to say in that, there's a vocal line that has to be expressive. And if I can think of the meaning of the words of the piece, that will help as well. Like this is a song where the young man is trying to entice the girl into the forest with him, and the gentleness of the way he reaches out to her is very important in your touch as you sink into the keys for each note. But get the marching orders to the next note from how you feel inside of you. So that's one piece. The Chopin Etude in E major. I got to be able to crawl, so I've got to be in the keys. Even those short notes, if I can let them get their direction from my heart, then now these. So there's a lot of beauty in there if you can give attention to the inner notes as well, the inner voices as well as the melody note. But it's not just the rise and fall of the melodic line, like going up a hill and coming down. It's not just that. It's got to have the warmth of feeling from the heart in each note you play. So that's another one. Claire de Loon is another one. I can sink in like this. I can go. There's a dynamic range that I'm going from. up to there. Now I'm coming down. So when I come down, I still have to flop through so that I can hang on both notes, and it would help if the piano was a well-regulated action, which this is not. But I got to hear the image of the moonlight. So if I want the calm, and so my heart has to say, what does it feel like to be under that moonlight when now I'm under it now. I want to hear that D flat. It doesn't play on this piano, but there it is. Hear the different dynamic range? 3, 4. Every note from your heart. You see, the fingers are depressing the key, but only part way down because it's so soft, but I'm still following through so that I can hang on to the key with just that little bit of weight, even though it's so little. But voicing it and creating an atmosphere, because I asked myself in my inner feeling, in my heart, how do I want that note to come out? How tender do I want it to sound? What do I want it to sound like in relation to the notes that preceded it, and then where I'm going next. So that's something you can do in Clair de Lune. The Brahms intermezzo. I need a sound in that is longing for something that Brahms could never have, which was his love for Clara. She couldn't return it because she loved her husband, Robert Schumann. So when I'm playing it in my heart, I've got it. And those are important too, even though I don't want them brought out. I've got to keep them, that I thought of each one with feeling. So not too loud. So there's a sadness to it because he can't have what he wants. But that's, again, each note in the going, I'm trying to relate to how I feel in my heart for the pain that he is suffering from not being fulfilled with what he wants. So it's just an image to give you an idea of how to reach out in your music, to not just play the notes. So then that's the Brahms. The Pathetique Sonata is, now I want the color on the top, but you could put the words I love sunshine, like to the, I love sunshine, but I still have to feel the inner voice, the notes in between, with compassion and caring and just getting their marching orders, as I say, from my heart. So I have to doorknob it a bit to the right to get the melody. So on. That's another one. What else have we got now? The Raindrop Prelude is beautiful. But you see, I didn't take the tone of that note in my mind through my heart, so it just sort of happened instead of... Now the dynamic range can come down in volume as I go down. so on. It's a tenderness. So that's one. When I take something like the Chopin Prelude in E minor, it's a very, very sad piece in the E minor, and then the descending line and so on speaks volumes to how you feel it. But now even those notes. Just sort of asking yourself in the going all the time, how do I want to feel that note? And then the sound and the physical aspect of it responds. That's about the way it happens. In G's Your Joy of Man's Desiring, I could imagine I'm being lifted up into heaven as it goes. It's 9/8 time, and you got 9 beats in the bar, and you don't want it to sound beaty, but you want it to sound like it's kind of floating. So if you get and so on, then it lifts you up in the prayer. Really, is what it's doing. And then when the chorale comes in, if I want more on the top voice, I just give that little extra when I go in. But I have to ask myself for each tone, how do I want to feel it? Otherwise, I'm just playing the notes, and I miss a lot of the communication to the listener. Chopin Funeral March, if you think of the beauty of the person that has passed away, and then you think, at the ends of the phrases like the singer. That helps to get the idea of an emotion, because it has to sing or speak, or it's not going to communicate anything to the listener. So that's another one. There's the Liszt Consolation. This introduction, even each note in the introduction, that's just a broken chord, like. You see, I'm trying to communicate consoling music when I play that piece, and so it can't have anything agitated. And so when I can feel from my heart on the inner notes, not just the melodic notes, that keeps the piece calm, and it keeps it in that tranquil, consoling atmosphere that I'd like to create when I'm doing it. It's not always successful, but I try. It's one piece. Liebestrum is another. If I go, you see, I don't want to go, I don't want to hit the, it's a love song, so I got to have tenderness with the way I come into each note, but I still need the line to go somewhere from this upbeat to go. So if each finger is in the icing of the cake, the thick chocolate icing, and I'm sinking into it, then I get each finger that's in gets its marching orders from my heart. Then you respond to that because I thought about it and I took the care to do that when I'm playing it. So if I get, and so on. That's that one. Then the Chopin Nocturne in E flat major. If I don't rush and have it sounding trite, then I can listen even longer, say on the first note, but gentle. Then so each finger can get its direction from how the previous note sounded, but through the compassion, the caring of delivering it sensitively to the listener. So that's the idea with that one, with all of them pretty well. The Schubert Ave Maria. If I go, I need the melody sounding, but these inner notes, it's hard on a piano that's not well regulated because you don't know whether they're going to play or not. When you know what you're doing, you're depressing the key part way and flopping through and hearing both notes with the finger firm, but the wrist so relaxed, so limpid. But that melody, you're crawling from one note to the next with all this relaxed body weight. It's like you feel your seat right in the keys. Release on the way up, and then when you lean your body forward and fall with the arms going like this away from you, then, and keeping the V a little bit as you do it, then you're able to anchor the weight just with the right balance to make it sound compassionate and effective. It's that one. Then there's Tremori. If I go, and Tremori means dreaming, so it gives me time to dream on each note. And I'm up there. Now spread the chocolate through my heart, as I say how I want it to sound before I sound it. So from your heart. Then there's the last one that I've got on the list, Moonlight Sonata. Just, you repeat all these notes before the melody, like it's just a broken triad, but you don't want it to sound thoughtless like that. You want, see how relaxing the fingers in the hand. Spread the chocolate. my heart. So drop and draw, but not carelessly, trying to do it with intention and with feeling. And I hope that gives you some ideas when you're practicing. It's fun to play music that way because you get so much release of how you feel. It's very therapeutic, actually, to play music. And I hope you got some ideas from that. Anyway, have a good night. Bye-bye.